Good morning everyone and welcome to day 2 of Grand Prix Malmo 2012 with me, Rich Hagan, and him, Frank Karsten, the Hall of Famer from the Netherlands, welcoming you to the start of day 2. It is draft time, and on the left of screen you're going to see Raf Mesotten of Belgium. There he is. And on the right you have one Nico Bohny from Switzerland. Frank, tell us what we've got in store, because these are two really interesting decks.
Yeah, I'm looking at Nico Bohny's deck list right now. It features 4 Abundant Growth and 2 Borderland Ranger. He is 4-color green with, well, mostly green-white, playing some angelic walls and Geist trappers to basically stall out the game until he can draw one of his bombs that he's aiming to win the game with. He has Tamio, the Moon Sage, almost basically of a splash in blue, and Crater Hoof Behemoth in green. He's also splashing black for Deathwind. And although, well, a 4-color deck might sound ambitious, his mana base actually sounds better than many 2-color decks, given all the green mana fixing that he has.
So he is going to kick off with a Moorland Inquisitor. Raf, meanwhile, blue-green. He's playing a much more of a tempo, a sort of traditional blue-green tempo deck. Seems very pleased with it. Bohny will send in the Moorland Inquisitor for the first damage of the game.
Yeah, Raf was very happy with this deck. He has all the necessary ingredients to make a blue-green deck good. He has some early drops. He didn't have a 2-drop this game, but he does start out with a Feathergeist.
A pretty good 3-drop.
Yeah, it's not exactly the creature you would like to play on turn 3, because it does hamper your development for the rest of the game. Not really tying in with the tempo game that he's aiming to play. Nevertheless, yeah, it's hard to argue with a 3-power flyer for just 3 mana. And I mean, it already stops Nico's attacks and will allow Raf to get in for 3 damage soon. But overall, Raf, after his first 2 boosters, he told me he was not terribly excited with his deck. He just had a bunch of green-blue creatures. But then in the last booster, he got the hookup for in the tempo department. He got like Crippling Chill, Vanishment, Peel from Reality. Those are exactly the cards that a green-blue deck needs to push through.
So you see the first of Bohny's 4 smoothing Abundant Growth, but that doesn't enable him to have any other play on the turn, so his Moorland Inquisitor will stay back. At the moment, Raf, of course, doesn't have any upkeep to pay on Feathergeist because it's other.
Yep, not yet.
So in we go. First damage back the other way. Bohny will fall to 17. And now 3 mana from Raf.
Oh wow. Triumph of Ferocity. Yeah, that's really a sleeper card in this format, but yeah, it is not to be underestimated.
That turned out to be one of the winners in the Fantasy Pro Tour last week. That was the #1 card in that department.
Cool. Yeah, it's just going to give your own personal Howling Mine, as long as Nico does not play, well, a 4-power creature. Like
he's maybe about to. Let's see. No, he's going to do something arguably a bit more powerful.
Also not bad.
4-power creature.
Yeah.
It's Tamio the Moon Sage. What's she doing here? Well, she's observing. And what she's observing is that that's a Feathergeist and it's tapped. Nonetheless, bonus card for Raf.
Yep. But bonus cards are nice, but he will need to find a way to deal with Tamio sometime soon. Otherwise, well, a couple turns later, Nico is just going to be able to ultimate it, and it will be hard to win the game from that position.
So we see Gryff Vanguard come down for Raf, so another card, if you're counting, that's 3 this turn.
Yep, yeah. He's digging deep in his deck. Yeah, the Triumph of Ferocity is probably actually one of the better green cards available in the set. It will have a big impact on the game. It will probably draw off like lots and lots of cards over the course of this game.
Moorland Inquisitor gets in with the threat of being first strike, meaning there's no way Raf's going to block with his Gryff Vanguard.
Yep. Okay, well that's a bigger creature than Rob's 3 power guys.
Soul of the Harvest, 6/6
Yeah.
and trample, and whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. They're both at it. All this card draw. What a Magic players like. Isn't one turn enough? Apparently it isn't.
The more cards the better. So Raf is paying the upkeep for Feather Guys. Now he has to pay 1 mana for his Griff Vanguard. And yeah, I'm guessing he's not really in a position that he was planning to be in with his deck. He didn't have the fastest of starts, and now he's facing a Planeswalker, a 6/6 Trampler that draws cards. Yeah,
so he pairs up
difficult.
Trusted Force Mage with Soul Bond to his Griff Vanguard.
Yeah, probably his game plan is going to be, well, first to get rid of Tamiyo by attacking it through the air, then hopefully being able to raise Nico's 6/6 guy and assorted cards that he will draw off that.
Just to clarify for you at home, you see the 2 white beads on the table there on the Trusted Force Mage and the Griff Vanguard. They're not +1/+1 counters, they're just something that we've brought into the feature match area just to sort of keep a track for you at home of where everything's soul bond. So the white beads, that's a pair. Later on, if you get another pair, we'll probably be using green beads or purple beads and so on. So just to make things a little bit easier. So don't think, wait, is that a 4/3? How does that work?
So Nico is setting up the card draw engine. Like Soul of the Harvest is a card that actually fuels on itself. You draw extra cards, which give you probably extra creatures, which draw you extra cards, and so on. As long as you keep drawing creatures, you're just going to have plays for the rest of the game, basically.
And so there you are, you see Nico pairing up his Geist Trappers with Soul of the Harvest, and we've got a matching pair of counters on there to indicate the Soul Bond.
Yeah, the reach ability is going to be huge, since it allows Nico to stave off Raf's attacks with his flyers, allowing him to well, build up Tamiyo and keep on drawing cards with his Souls of the Harvest, while Raf is not able to attack him profitably.
It's not often we get the chance to sort of essentially look at 2 decks before we start, certainly not without the luxury of a Pro Tour Sunday where we get Saturday night to have a look at ifs, ands and buts. But to be fair, we said that these decks looked pretty interesting, and already we've seen plenty of interaction and some interesting plays.
Yeah, that's typical for draft decks, as opposed to seal decks where you just get what you open and make the best out of that. In draft you have so much flexibility to just steer the draft into the course that you like to go into yourself, and you can focus more on like actually drafting a deck with a game plan, with synergies, as well basically both players have been doing. And so far it seems that Nico Bohny's deck with its game plan of controlling the board with Angelic Wall, Geist Trappers and so on, and taking over the game with his big 5 and 6 mana flashy spells, is working out for him.
How much difference, I don't know whether Raf's gotten into the void, but how much difference can Raf make quickly in terms of bounce? Is there a way that he can maneuver himself into a situation where most of Nico's board can disappear almost simultaneously? Or is it much more a case of, I have a crippling chill that will get rid of one thing for a little while?
I think it's mostly that. I believe he has no Into the Void or cards that bounce multiple creatures, which make it hard for him to work through like the Geist Trappers.
Sure.
I mean, he made his Griff Vanguard a bit larger with Timberland Guide, pumping it up to 5/4, which would be able to get through Geist Trappers itself, but not through the 6/6 Soul of the Harvest that has gotten reach. So Raf's still not able to attack, and Nico playing creatures, drawing more creatures, playing more creatures, drawing more cards, hopefully some creatures. Yeah, he's having
yes!
Yeah, I don't think he had enough cards yet. Yeah.
Feel the power.
He should be careful not to deck himself.
Yeah. Well, for all we joke, that could come into play in this game, couldn't it?
Well, typically it actually might, when the game is really drawn out and both players have a bunch of creatures with neither player being able to get through. But Nico Bohny does have Crater Hoof Behemoth in his deck.
Yes.
If he draws that at this stage of the game, it's just gonna be game over.
Yes. Yeah, we might start doing the math on Crater Hoof Behemoth and go.
How much?
Let's see.
Yeah.
So it's +X for the number of creatures you control. Right now, it would be the 7th creature. So the Crater Hoof Behemoth would arrive as a 12/12 trampling haste. Everything else would get +7/+7. So the Mauled Inquisitor would be a 9/9 for striking trampler. Yeah, okay. I can see how that could be awkward. Next question. You can probably guess what it is. Does Raph have any counter spells? Has he got Geist Snatch in his board somewhere for game 2?
He has one in his board. Yep, he's not playing it in main deck.
Okay.
Since it's not really fitting in his blue-green real tempo strategy. But
if Crater Hoof Behemoth wins game 1, I'm going to go right out there and say that Raph Mesotten's going to sideboard in his Geist Snatch.
I wouldn't be surprised, also because he's basically losing this game on the Soul of the Harvest.
Yes. So even without the Crater Hoof,
yeah,
there are potential reasons to bring it in.
Interestingly, Raph did decide not to pay the upkeep for Feathergeist. He didn't forget, because he was thinking about it for a short while. He decided not to pay because it frees up some mana that he can use to, well, play other creatures with, or, well, maybe draw cards that other cards that he might want to play. It's because the Feathergeist, yeah, it wasn't able to get through the Geist Trappers and the Soul of the Harvest anyway. So, yeah, might as well lose it, because the upkeep was getting a bit steep. And especially when your opponent has 2 Angelic Wall in play. Feathergeist says, oh, there's a Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Oh,
just like we talked about, +7/+7. And Ref just scooping it up.
My permanence. Good game. Oh, don't you just love it when a plan comes together?
Exactly.
It's the silly turn when you go, I'll draw for the turn, I'll cast an Angelic Wall, I'll draw. I'll cast a Gryff Vanguard, I'll draw 2. It's like, really?
Yep.
That's pretty saucy. And what's so crazy about that is that Raph began that game by outdrawing Bohny with his Triumph of Ferocity, and in the end, he just got utterly destroyed on card draw.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah, the Soul of the Harvest drew Bohny, well, a bunch of cards for himself, but at the same time, it also stopped the Triumph of Ferocity of Raph, because the Soul of the Harvest became the biggest creature on the board. Yeah, those things together really allowed him to swing the game with that 6/6 rare.
So Raph, we think, is going in search of Geist Snatch. Nico Bohny could be going in search of anything, because let's face it, he can play anything he wants. He's got 4 colours already in the main deck, so he's probably not short of options, though perhaps not many very good ones. Bohny goes back historically many years in the game. Won Grand Prix Torino, as we said, in 2006. Cracked the top 8 of the Pro Tour in Hollywood, 2008. He went out in the quarterfinals there. I think he lost to a Revelart deck, if memory serves, to a Japanese player. And then part of the Swiss team at Worlds in San Francisco, 2004, not last year. 2007 in New York was his Worlds team triumph as part of the Swiss team. Then again, the Swiss national team at Rome in 2009, and then you get Pro Tour Paris in 2011, where again he missed out at the quarter-final stage. Raph, as you've already said, Frank, he got himself to Worlds in San Francisco last year, part of the Belgian team, and certainly looking like the Belgian team for the World Magic Cup is starting to look pretty good. We've got Vincent Lemoyne as the official, the national champion, as the highest place finisher, but their one qualifier they've run already won by Moraine Libert, so those two
very accomplished Belgian players with Pro Tour top 8s to their names, multiples in fact.
Moraine had one every year from 2007 to 2010, 4 years running. You had to pencil in one of the 32 slots to Moraine,
and
then just skipped last year. So
yeah, it's a lot of experience already on the Belgian team, so certainly yeah, a country to keep an eye on for the World Magic Cup. Yep.
And we're hoping later in the year to have Moraine with us here on European Grand Prix event coverage. Moraine's going to be one of our pro experts, as it were, sitting in the Frank Carsten chair when Frank's busy doing... What is it you do? It's stuff with game theory, right? In terms of real life? You're working with game theory and stuff like that?
I am in my PhD studies, but that's mostly a bunch of funky mathematics.
Sure.
Well, inspired by actual games, and you can also apply it to games like Magic, but it's not what I'm doing.
Sure.
So the game is underway, second game, and Raf is now getting a fast start that he likes with Wingcrafter. Indeed, one of the better cards in his deck. No 2-drop yet.
And Bohny, does he have Moorland Inquisitor for the second game running? No, he has an Angelic Wall. That actually turned out to be really good for him, because assuming that Raf has a 3-drop, you're looking at turning off functionally a good chunk. Oh, and no 3-drop from Raf.
Yeah,
okay.
Looks like Raf has a Druid's Familiar, a Geist Trappers,
Crippling Chill,
a Peel from Reality, and a Vanishment in his hand. It's a
now, more flying defense from Nico. That's a Gloom Widow.
Yep. Now Raf, I mean, he would like to get a 4th land for his Druid's Familiar, which he can get with Crippling Chill. Of course, he would like to keep the Crippling Chill to tap down a creature at a later stage in the game where it might have more impact, but he really needs the card to find a 4th land or some other creature to at least add some pressure to the board.
And he got there at the second time of asking.
Yep.
So because it was the second card, again, precisely, you see Crippling Chill, the card you draw isn't what you need, but functionally it's actually bought him an entire turn of usefulness by getting to the 4th land he needed.
Exactly, it does dig deeper in your deck. Okay, interesting. Raf does not play the Druid's Familiar, but rather goes for a Tandem Lookout, pairing up with his Wingcrafter, aiming to get in with his 2 flying creatures in the next turn and hoping to draw a card as a result.
Here we see Abundant Growth for the first time from Nico Bohny. If you're playing along at home, feel free to work out how many extra cards these players are drawing in this match. Pretty much everything says draw a card. I don't think it's going to be too long before one of them goes, Forest, draw a card. Like, what? Hey? Oh, sorry, I just thought everything I did drew me a card.
Yeah, Abundant Growth is a huge card since it now allows Nico to pretty much play all of his cards. He can play Tamio, he can play Seraph of Dawn, double white. He can play Soul of the Harvest, which is double green. He can also play his Deathwind. It's 1 card, but it fixes your entire mana base. So yeah, Raf gets in with both of his Soulbond guys, dealing 1 damage with the Wingcrafter, but that does allow him to draw a card due to the pairing with Tandem Lookout. Nico Bohny blocking, well, the biggest creature, of course, with his Angelic Wall. And Raf appears to have, some guys and still the Vanishment and Peel from Reality.
Wandering Wolf comes down.
Yep.
Which doesn't do an awful lot of anything right now.
Not yet, but looking at the Druid's Familiar that he has in his hand, he might be able to play that next turn, pair it up with the Wandering Wolf, and then be able to basically swing in with a 4-power Wandering Wolf. That's also very hard to block for Nico Bohny. He could have also played the Druid's Familiar on his turn, and then pair it up with the Wandering Wolf on his next turn, but then Nico might be able to just profitably block the Druid's Familiar, as opposed to now his Wandering Wolf can rumble in unopposed. And that's indeed what's happening, dealing 4 to Tamio. Wingcrafter not attacking because, well, there's no point. Nico could just block it with Gloom Widow. So Tamio tapping down the Wandering Wolf, that's giving Nico problems. And there's Soul of the Harvest again.
Yes, that's a worry for Raph.
Yep. Yeah, Raf will have to try to get rid of the Tamio sometime soon. He does have a Peel from Reality to get rid of one of the blockers of Nico. He could play Peel from Reality on either Gloom Widow or Angelic Wall right now, and then maybe Vanishment on the other blocker on his turn, such that he can crash in with his flying creatures to get rid of Tamio. He does have to expend a lot of cards in order to do all that though.
Well, it's Peel from Reality.
Yep.
Away goes Wandering Wolf, and away goes Gloom Widow. Raph untaps. Again, this is one of those games where the life totals don't really tell you what's going on, as we see Banishment as well, get rid of a flying blocker.
Yep. Nico probably not too unhappy that he will be able to play 2 fresh creatures next turn, drawing more cards with the Soul of the Harvest.
That said, Tamio's dead. Although Raph's expended 2 cards in terms of the Vanishment and the Peel from Reality, he's also gained 2 cards because the Tandem Lookout was paired up with the Wingcrafter.
He only draws a card from the Wingcrafter,
sure,
which attacked Nico. The Tandem Lookout attacked Tamio.
Yes.
Yeah. But still, one extra card back is not bad.
Looks like
he still has some creatures on the board, but now Nico is gonna take
draw a card.
Yep. There we go again.
Engine.
Indeed.
You see blackborder.com, where Nico's been writing for quite a few years now. Oh,
the well-known 2 cards.
Yeah, whatever.
There's
just no more powerful feeling in Magic than drawing extra cards.
Especially when you're drawing into a Crater Hoof Behemoth at the end.
Yes. And the punchline is slam.
Yep. Nico doing some mad, working out whether he can attack. He would be happy to trade his Moorland Inquisitor for an unpaired Druid's Familiar. So getting in 2 points, knowing that the Moorland Inquisitor is probably not going to block anyway. Ooh!
Oh, Revenge of the Hunted!
So that's +6/+6, trample.
Both of those are good. It's the next bit that counts.
And all creatures able to block it this turn have to do so.
Yeah, because then he gets to make Wandering Wolf as well, to pair up with the Druid's Familiar.
That's a huge miracle right there.
Smash!
Yep.
Well,
yeah, Nico has to block
everything in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thing is, it isn't. What's so scary? It isn't an utter blowout. He obviously kills the Soul of the Harvester. Soul of the Harvest, rather.
Yeah, and then probably either the Griff Vanguard or the Angelic Wall as well, because the Druid's Familiar is now 10/10.
Yeah.
And drawing 2 cards with the Tandem Lookout. Yeah, that Revenge of the Hunted really got him back in the game all of a sudden. Dealing with 2 of the best creatures that Nico had in play. And just dealing some damage in the process, drawing some cards with the Tandem Lookout. Wow.
But you would expect that Revenge of the Hunted is game over in almost every scenario. You expect that to be the end. And here, it's like, I've clawed my way back in, and I'm ahead again, but maybe not by an awful lot. Wow. What does
Nico was basically at a too high life total to be able to win in one attack with Revenge of the Hunted. But still, it did really allow him to get back into the game.
So there's Borderland Ranger, which functionally draws a card. It's a particular card, in that it has to be a land. But
yeah, especially in a 4-color deck. This is really a card that you need to fix your mana.
6 mana, Sigarda, Host of Herons. Welcome to the board.
Didn't even see that on his deck list. The gold part is always a bit obscured, but well, he does have some spicy rares in his deck. Wow.
Well worth finding.
Oh yeah.
With all your draw a card effect.
Yeah, 5/5 flying is able to block pretty much all of Raf's creatures. and the hexproof ability means that it cannot be bounced, cannot be tapped down, nothing of that. Yeah, that also managed to make sure that Nico really takes control of the game again.
Yeah, and that board you're looking at there is exactly one turn after a miracled Revenge of the Hunted.
Yep.
That's extraordinary. If you're staying up late at night on the far side of America, just thinking, I'll have a quick nightcap, watch a couple of rounds before I head to sleep on what is still for you very late Saturday night. Hope you're enjoying this opening to day 2. Been a great match.
Guys Trappers for Raf is not changing the equation. All of his guys are still, yeah, too small basically. I mean, there is a 4-4 Druid's Familiar, a 4-3 Wandering Wolf, a 3-5 Geist Trappers, but still no match for Sigarda, Host of Herons. Gloom Widow coming down again after being bounced back into Nico's hand, and a Nettle Swine. And Nico at the same time is also not really able to attack. I mean, he could go in with Sigarda, but yeah, that opens up the possibility for Raf to attack him. So.
Yeah, another Geist Trappers. The thing is, Nico kind of doesn't need to attack in the sense that we've already seen that he has a Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Yeah, if the game goes long, he will eventually find it, and it will just immediately win the game for him. And he has enough card draw, Abundant Growth again, to get there.
Unless, of course, the Geist stack comes into play.
Yep. Do we know whether Raf actually boarded it in? Well, we'll have to see.
Surely would, wouldn't you? I mean, okay, I've never seen a counterspell I didn't like, so obviously I'm biased, but...
Well, if I see my opponent has cards like a Crater Hoof Behemoth, Soul of the Harvest, but also a Geist Trappers giving me problems, that's a type of deck I would like to have Geist Snatch against.
And it's so late, all 3 of those are at 5, 6 and obviously 8. You are in the position where you're likely to get to this scenario. It's not a case of, oh no, I've missed my window to counter it. It's not like you're trying to counter a 2 casting cost artifact, or even, let's say, a Moonsilver Spear that's giving you problems.
No.
It's 6 and 8 that you really care about as Nettle Swine comes down on the other side of the table.
Yeah, board getting a bit cluttered at the moment.
Just a little bit.
So interestingly, Raf does seem to have Feathergeist in his hand, but he doesn't really want to play it. The Feathergeist won't really do anything to the board state right now, like when your opponent has an Angelic Wall and a Sigarda, it's not going to be able to attack.
And I can see that an upkeep of 7 is a drawback.
Even though he has a lot of mana, he doesn't want to tie up all of it and impede his ability to play spells in the next turns.
So Raph continues to look at the top of his deck in terms of miracles. Does he have anything exciting in terms of... I mean, we've obviously seen Revenge of the Hunted already, but...
Yeah, he has Banishment in his graveyard, but that's also not...
but he doesn't have Devastation Tide, because that would make the hands very large. See, I'm struggling to see, having had the Revenge of the Hunted, how Raph goes about winning this game.
Well, there's one card that catches my eye, and it's Joint Assault.
Yep.
If Raph draws that, he might be able to attack with 2 Soulbond guys, and then use Joint Assault to win combat against, say, Sigarda and some other creature. Without that, I don't really see what Raph is going to do.
It probably has to be decking, doesn't it? Does he not start thinking of, I have a huge board presence, you can't attack me?
It's not out of the question that it will come down to that. Like when both players have so many big creatures there. Okay, this also works. Pairing up the Force Mage with Nettle Swine makes 5/4 Swine, which, well, on the one hand, it could attack and battle Sigarda, but still If he attacks with Nettle Swine, it's just going to trade against the other Nettle Swine,
Yeah.
and he's still not really getting ahead that way.
Pass, 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 pass. It's draw go.
Yeah, and Nico is also still not able to attack in any good way, so...
But he only wants to have one attack. As far as he's concerned, there is only one more turn in this game.
Yep.
And that's Creative Behemoth hit you for 409. That's basically what...
That's what it's gonna come down to.
That's his plan. Timberland Guide.
This works. Yeah, what the Wandering Wolf making it a 5-power guy is pretty huge. It's interesting to see that he still doesn't attack.
Now then, do you have a Guy Snatch, Mesotten? You've got 4 cards. I'd
Nico,
like to offer you this. I'm amazed he's got the arm strength to hold it up.
Yeah, I mean, Nico knows there's a Guy Snatch in this format.
Yeah.
He's just hovering
And
it,
he's got that.
hoping it resolves. Can I have this one, please?
I thought I'd have this card here. How's about it? And Raf's like, really? Really? Okay, he says. It isn't okay. It's not okay at all.
Yeah.
And that, my friends, is how you win games of Magic. Oh dear, that was outstanding fun. Yes.
Yeah, Raf doesn't even bother trying to work through the mod. He knows, well, it's plus
Yeah.
lots plus lots. Not gonna work out.